Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Bev.
I'm Eve. We're covering Beth up with a beautiful little tree. Happy December. On our tree, we have two of our patterns that are available on the Etsy shop. This one is Waiting for Santa. It is a kitty cat sitting out, looks like in the snow.
By his little tree.
By his little tree, kind of like a Charlie Brown tree. And this one is called, what's it called? I can't read it. Silent Night. It's angels. And then this one is also on our Etsy shop. What's this called, Eve?
Building Frosty.
Building Frosty. So there's elves making a snowman. This is Eve's design. All of these are. And these are available on our Etsy shop right now, so you can get it done before Christmas. So our Etsy link is in the link tree, link in the description below our video. Mm-hmm. So that's what's going on in our Etsy shop. Plus, there's all kinds of fun things on there. Bags and scissor fobs and needle minders and everything you might need. So check it out. Now I guess I'm going to take a break and move the tree so we can see Beth's pretty face. I mean, take a vote if you want me to leave it there. No, I was kidding. Okay, we're back. Now you can see Beth. Hi. I guess I'm going first. My big accomplishment this week, as you know, last week I finished Hannah's sweater. So I have it right here. I still haven't blocked it because now for someone asked about what blocking was, and that's just where you usually soak it and lay it out flat to dry. Here's the sweater, if you remember from last week. But I added to it, so what I did was I thought I'd finish what I wanted to do and then block it both. But I made this. It's called A Turtle to Go, and it's in the same book as the Jacqueline Fee sweater workshop book. So you wear the sweater, and then you put this on, and you fold it down in half and put it on, and it is a turtleneck to go. So I'm going to put a picture here of the Hannekin up close without the turtle and then with the turtle. And I love the way it turned out. I was so happy. I put it on today before I came over here, and I was like, I am so jazzed. I was so excited. I sent Hannah a picture, and she's like, send it to me now. But I will demonstrate. What's nice about this is that when you get to your destination, you know, if you're out in the cold and you get to your, you know, wherever you're going inside, you can actually take it off. Who hasn't worn a turtleneck that they've regretted? I mean, in Phoenix, it would happen every day. So what's nice is you use the same count of the ribbing.
You could pull it up over your face if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you got really cold outside, yeah, you could wear it.
Like a balaclava.
Mm-hmm. You could wear it up and keep yourself warm. But what's nice is you use the same count that's on the top of the sweater plus 10%. So it's a little bit bigger, so it'll rest over the... I can't even see myself. Okay, there I am. Just taking off my glasses. So it rests over the edge of the sweater.
Naomi, you should move this way a little bit, I think. One of us is always off camera.
One of us is, yeah, my shoulder's always off. So anyway, that's the turtle to go, and it's quite warm. But, you know, it'll be nice for walking through Boston, or if she feels like wearing it. But then if she has to play or it's too warm, she can just take this right off. Boop. And put it in her bag, and it is the turtle
wear it
to
over
go.
your ears. And,
yeah. So it's just a tube. Now what's interesting is in the pattern, it has you use, so it designates two different needle sizes to make this sweater. You have the body needle, which in this case was a size 5, and then you have the ribbing needle, which is smaller by 2 sizes. So this is a size 3 to make all the ribbing. In the cuffs, the bottom, the bottom hem, oh wait, that's another cuff. The bottom hem of the sweater and the neck. So that's a size 3. So what this does for the turtle to go is it has you use you're still making ribbing, but you use the body size needle here, and then for 3 inches, and then 3 inches you use the ribbing size needle, and then, excuse me, I might sneeze, and then for the bottom part you use the body size needle again. And excuse me, it doesn't explain why, but it just tells you to do it for, so 9 inches of knitting with with a needle change in the middle. And I think it's so that when you fold it over, it's less bulky here, and it pulls in a little bit. It has that sort of shape, which I think is really clever. So I love this. So I'm so excited. So what I'm going to do tonight is this yarn, although I've never done this before, it is a superwash yarn, and it says that it is machine washable and dryable. And usually, even with my superwash yarn, I still wet block it. I just soak it and then lay it flat to dry. But with this, I am going to actually put it in the washer and dryer, because I think this yarn, I've talked about it before, is a single. It's not plied on it back on itself. It's just a single twist, and it has washable superwash wool and acrylic in it. So it should hold its shape very well. And actually, one of the knitting teachers I like, Stacy Perry from Very Pink Knits, says that whatever the yarn label says is how you should block the sweater. So it says machine wash and dry. And what I'm thinking is that it's going to even everything out and actually full the single and make the wool in it fuller. Like, there are some spots that are big, fat, and fuzzy in the yarn, and some spots that are very, very thin. And I think it's going to kind of even that out, and that's what I'm hoping. And it doesn't matter, because she's going to wash and dry it once she gets it. So I don't think it's going to felt, because it's superwash wool. But anyway, I'm very excited to see how it comes out. I think it's going to make it look really nice and even out all the stitches. When it comes out of the washer, I may take a look at it and, do the stretching that you do, just to see how it looks, and not stretching, but just kind of, like I like to tug on my stitches to even them out a little bit, and see if there's any spots that look weird. So that's going to happen tonight, and by order of the princess, tomorrow I'm going to try to mail it out, because she is desperate for it. She's so excited. So that is all I've done. Now, we recorded last on Saturday, and today's Thursday, so it hasn't been a full week, but that's all I've done. I just finished the turtle to go this morning.
And how are the temperatures like in Boston right now?
Pretty cold. She sent me a miserable video of just rain, and I guess she says it's crazy windy, but it's getting cold. I don't think it's snowed yet.
I heard this winter is supposed to be a cold winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but what I'm going to work on while we're sitting here is the second installment in our giveaway. So I have this. I talked about this last week, and I saw our viewers are very clever. And we're not so smart, because we're like, ooh, we'll have 3 different, we're going to talk about this in a minute, but we'll have 3 different, what is it, what do we call them? Keywords. And mine was Santa, yours was delivery, and yours was bag. And I'm like, well, of course Santa delivers in a bag. So that was easy. So we are doing a giveaway. We will draw 4 prizes on Christmas Day.
No, they will see it on Christmas Day.
You will see it on Christmas Day. We're gonna draw for it.
So you have to apply for it
the Thursday before. Right. So if you would like to be included in the drawing, you can use our keywords to enter the drawing.
We'll talk about it more when all of us have gone.
Yeah. So as soon as we've all gone, we'll talk about the giveaway. But I'm going to be working on the second installment of my part of the giveaway, which is a companion to this little guy right here. This is Santa. So I'm going to be making, while we talk, I'm going to work on...
I didn't take one. I don't have to take
That's okay. The stripy one right here. This is what I'm making next. So I'm going to start that now. And I don't really have any other projects to talk about? I have my Christmas present that I'm working on also that I'm like finally get to focus on. But I'm going to make this little dude while we're sitting here. And I think I need to get out a pen. Oh, I think I have a pen in my bag. So that is me. That's all. That's all I got. Because I've been so monogamous. I'm so proud of myself. I'm like focusing on one project at a time.
Okay.
You going next, Steve?
No,
I'll go.
Oh, Beth's going next. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm working on right now the rabbit for December, and the only thing I picked this fabric and everything's showing up well except the rabbits have these little tails and they're very light, and you'll see a close up picture, but the tails are not quite showing up. But I figure it, in the long run it'll be okay. But this is the December rabbit. So I just started it like as soon last night. I think I got up to go to the bathroom or something, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, heck, it's December. But earlier I had finished my goal for this WIP-GO project, which was a daily walk in the woods, and my goal was 10 days, and the 10th day was Monday, but I was like partway through this tree here, and I wanted to finish this tree and this little tree because then I would have a page finish. All of this stuff is on page 3 of the design. And when I started earlier, 10 days ago, or whatever, 12 days ago, I was working on this part of this tree, this little corner of this tree. So all of these other trees on this side, not counting these, this is about 10 of them I did in the 10 days, 12 days, whatever. And actually, I wanted to finish this Tuesday morning, but we were running around my cat Snug, the we talked about last time that had the cat and hat blood all over him. I got him to the vet Tuesday morning, and so he's taking pills. I'll talk about that later. Yeah, but so anyway, so I didn't have I think we went out. We were running around all day Tuesday, and then I had rehearsal, and so then finally Tuesday night I was trying to stitch a little bit, and I was like, I'm so tired. so I finished the 10 days. I finished the page on Wednesday. So I'm very happy with that. I'm probably not going to touch it for some time, but at least I've got more done on it. So there's that. Daily Walk in the Woods by Carolyn Manning Designs on like 16 or 18 count Ada. And gosh, I've had this for a long time. I think I got it like in 2017. So anyway, so this little corner is finished. So there's that. So then my upcoming WIP-GO, the last two numbers, and I don't remember what they are numerically. I think 24 and something else. One of them is this by Tiny Modernist. This was also a mystery SAL that I barely got started on and quickly fell behind on. But this is Santa's house. So the only part of the inside of the house I've got is some of the legs of some of the furniture. These little brown lines down here, and part of the stove, the outline of the stove, and then on the outside of the house, I've got a lot of snow, part of a nutcracker, part of a snowman, and I think part of a reindeer. So, and this is 28 count Lugana that I coffee and or tea dyed myself a long time ago, and I hope this is a big enough piece of material for this. As I was looking at it going, I don't know if it, because at the time that I did this one and the Carol Manning design one and all that, I didn't really was not in the habit of using the online cross-stitch calculator things, and so I was going by the finished sizes that are, you know, that are in the instructions or whatever. So this is what the Santa's house is supposed to look like, with all of this, just all this stuff going on. And yeah, so I'm very, very far behind on that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a lot
I was
of stuff.
wondering what this looked like.
Yeah, so I have like this one little part of this reindeer, part of this snowman, and
Yeah.
part of this nutcracker, and then part of this stove, the outline of the stove.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm hoping that, you know,
It's cute.
in 10
Santa's
days
up
I
in
can.
the top. He's not even dressed yet.
Yeah,
Oh, cute.
I'm hoping that in the 10 days I can, you know, make some good progress on it. And then this is the other WIP-GO pull of this booklet in Endangered Species. This little this gray wolf one is the one that was pulled, and this one I started a long time ago, thinking I would make a pillow thing for my brother, and I don't know if I'm still going to do that. But it's on Ada, but it's a
Come here.
very
Come here,
thick,
Rogue. Come here.
very
Don't bark.
stiff Ada, and I'm having to actually stitch it in hand because it's so stiff I can't get it in the hoop,
Oh wow.
and it's very, very pixelated.
Was it a kit?
No, no.
Hi.
Where'd you get the fabric?
At Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. I just buy it.
Okay, get that.
Well, it's looking good from
Okay,
this
get that.
side.
Yeah, it's really nice, but the problem with this is that when I started
Oh,
it,
Rogue's very interested in your.
see this wolf?
She's
Your
not-
ancestor.
You can't see her. You're not.
But
a wolf.
but the problem with this is that when I worked on this before, I did not have a working copy of it, and I did not mark on my original pattern, and so when I took it out a couple of years ago, a few years ago, probably for Mania or something, and I had to sit down. I had to make a working copy of it, and then sit down with a working copy and mark off what I had done. Because looking at it, I could not figure out,
Oh, no.
you know, what color was what, and because they're all like shades of gray and brown, you know, and so it took me longer to figure out where I was in the design
Oh, no.
than it took me to actually, you know, by the time I finally got stitching. So I'm going to have to reacquaint myself with this and maybe do, I think, probably a little more just coloring in what, you know, what I've already stitched and, you know, whatever, so that I can figure out where I'm at. But so I finally started like sort of getting a little more methodical about, I think I was doing like, you know, sort of as I am inclined to, you know, color completion kind of thing. And it was very, very tricky to do. And
I think in those kind of patterns, you have to kind of
yeah, you kind of have to, I think.
do section by section.
Mm-hmm. So
It's
yeah,
not-
so I have a long ways to go on this one as well. But I'm hoping that maybe, again, with sort of, you know, concentrated time on it, I can get more done. And the other big news is that, let me do this first, okay. You know, at Thanksgiving, my nephew brought his girlfriend, and so I was thinking, you know, now that I've met her, we've talked a little bit about cross stitch, I think. That, you know, just that we do it as a, you know, and so so I was wanting to do something for her as a garbage truck out there. Sorry.
I hope it's not hitting my car. I parked kind of close
I don't
to
know, it's out there making noise. But I thought I would do something for her. So I have this little booklet. This is this is by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread, Snowball, and it has a whole bunch of little designs in it. But the one I'm wanting to do is this little snow globe design.
That's cute.
And so it's really a snow globe in design only. It's I think she's finished it here just as a pillow, but it's snowman, and it's got the little, you know, snow globe half circle around him, and some snow and stuff like that. And so, because it's mostly whites and that sort of thing, the bottom of it is a little blue. But I'm thinking of this blue. And this is probably a 32 count linen. Unless I have another piece of, you know, some other color that's big enough for this. I hadn't really thought through it, but, you know, and I have this pink also, so I don't know, but probably I'm leaning toward this, doing it in this blue. But there's that.
That's cute.
And then, and I have a bunch of other little Christmas design things that I want to get done. But then also, I had, you know, I get a couple of different newsletters. Actually, because I'm doing Jingle Ball this weekend, there was a...
What's that?
It's an online kind of stitching retreat, but it's all online. It's all a virtual retreat.
Oh, wow.
And it starts Friday. I'm actually going to miss part of it because we're going to that concert.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. It starts Friday like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So I might be able to do a little bit of it, but I don't want to get bogged down because we're leaving early to go to that concert.
Holiday pops.
Yeah.
Oh, I just dropped a stitch marker.
There's the dog eat it.
No, I know.
But anyway, so because I'm going to that,
Don't mind me.
there was a link there that you could sign up for all the newsletters of the artists that are participating in it. And so I got a link from Janine McGowan that said, you know, you could get these free charts that are on her website. So there was if you go to her website, there's a link that says, you know, like free charts, whatever. And so there's I don't want to show them all here because it's just a chart and not pictures. But there's a chart she did for the Moo the Merrier, and then they had also the Meow the Merrier. So I have that, and the Meow the Merrier is a Halloween design of a cat with a witch's hat, I think, like I think it's a pumpkin that says Boo on there, and the Moo the Merrier is a cow with a flowery hat thing, and there's also I think there's a market freebie that's the cookies. There's a little dog who looks like a rogue.
Begging for cookies.
Yeah. And then there's for the 2020 cookbook. There's one with a squirrel and a pie. And oh yeah, here's the cat. Yeah. And then there's another one.
What do you mean cookbook?
That one's in the cookbook.
Yeah.
They have a cookbook with cross stitch patterns in it.
Uh-huh.
It has recipes from some of the designers, and then
Well,
it's
that's
got
fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the one that she sent that recently that I got was this Christmas hippo. Like, you want a hippopotamus for Christmas?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So
Hippo,
anyway,
it's a hippo wearing a Santa hat.
yeah.
Since you can't
Yeah,
see
you
him.
can't really see it. but anyway, so if you want to go to Janine McGowan's website, like I said, she has a link there that's for free patterns, and there's all kinds of free stuff in there. And then also, what came in the mail was my December winter issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. And of course, there's wonderful designs in there. There's a punch needle of a nativity thing.
I love looking at that magazine of things I will never do. That I want to do, that I will never do.
The funniest thing, I think, is this there's a punch needle design for it's like two designs that you could make into a pillow. And so you can flip it over, one side or the other. One side says, I'm on the naughty list, and the other says, I'm on the nice list. And then there's a Stitching with the Housewives design, Mr. and Mrs. Claus in a bucket.
Let me see. Oh, cute.
And then there's this one with a Santa and a reindeer on the house.
Up on the rooftop.
Yeah, up on the rooftop. And just lots of, beautiful designs as usual. There's a really pretty, it's a punch needle design, but it's gorgeous.
I keep telling myself one day I'm going to do punch needle.
Well, the time I felt like I understood it best was watching a Vonna Pfeiffer tutorial on it, and I thought, because I've seen lots of tutorials on it, and I'm thinking, okay, I think I understand it. But then when I watched Vonna Pfeiffer's,
what's to understand? I mean, a little bit. It's just like coloring.
Yeah,
right?
part of it, but I'm just like chicken, I
You're
guess.
scared of it.
And so when I watched Vonna Pfeiffer's tutorial, I thought, okay, I can do it. And I was going to, and then I just was busy and didn't get around to it. But this thing is gorgeous.
Let me see.
This reindeer is gorgeous.
Eve, you've successfully done punch needle.
I learned how to do punch needle in high school
Look at that one.
from my horrible art teacher.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That is beautiful.
That's so gorgeous.
A little bit, I think, it'd be easier than doing any of these things because once you have the pattern on there, you don't have to think about it. It's literally just coloring. But it stresses me out because I get really that loop is too long. This
edges
loop
are
is
really
too short.
The edges are really important, but other than that,
Right.
Yeah.
But I get neurotic about the.
well, when I see these, that art teacher, we were supposed to use the bigger punch needle, not the little ones that are used for this, but on burlap with yarn, and she wanted us to make our own pattern, cutting 2 colors of construction paper. And then we would get yarn to match the color of the construction paper. And and do the pattern. And she said, yours is too detailed. You'll never be able to do that. And I said, why not? And she said, you just can't. You won't get those edges. I'm going to try. And mine looked exactly like I expected it to look, but I made small loops. But everybody else was making loops this big, and so the loops were going everywhere, And I don't think an art teacher should tell you can't.
Yeah.
Or that your design or your idea is not doable.
You should,
she should have just asked me, well, how do you plan to do that?
Yeah.
And it might not work, but go ahead and try.
And she's the one that tried to make me make a santo.
Yeah.
And she didn't even understand how she could not have me do that. How I could say no and not get an F.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I am of the opinion that our school systems teach art out of kids. They don't teach kids to do art. They teach them to ignore it and to minimize it and to think that they are somehow less because they want to draw or play music. I mean, look at how many band kids get made fun of because they're not on the football team. And music increases your math skills.
Yeah.
And art increases your hand-eye coordination, and of course imagination, And I just think that schools concentrating so much on social engineering and other things, and they need to concentrate on the arts to give well-rounded educations.
This is the stitching with a housewife design. Your bucket brigade, part of their bucket brigade. This one also, look at this. It's a little snowman. This mitten. Cute. There's a big snowman on a mitten. And the Janine McGowan. The other one. Whimsical Winter by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It's a snowman with
that's beautiful.
an owl or something.
Look at that, Eve.
I think it's yeah, it's an owl, a Christmas owl, and a little big white Quaker, and then like I said, Janine McGowan, yeah, her series of designs. She had a glaring of cats, a parade of elephants, another one, and then this one is a bouquet of pheasants, which is really pretty too.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. So anyway, like this, like as many people have said, this magazine is really worth it for. It's
How many times does it come out? 4? 5?
4 or 5 times a year. Because there's a spring issue, a summer issue, fall issue, and a winter issue. So maybe 4, I guess. For $17, you get a zillion, cross-stitch patterns and punch needle patterns.
That's nice.
31 projects, this says right here. So, for $17, you couldn't beat that with a stick. So, it's just gorgeous. And there's all kinds of either, if you can't do a whole design, you can do a small, to do, like for a giveaway or a present or something like that. So they're just very, it's very versatile.
Can I borrow that
handy.
book while you're talking about your other stuff so I can look at it? I want to look through all of yours that you have. This is so pretty.
So I think that's me.
Okay.
This head is so stiff, I can't even fold it.
Oh my gosh.
So right now I am working on Winter Reindeer, Dirty Annie. I started this on Thanksgiving Day. I have not spent a lot of time on it since we just showed you. I put in some of this. This is
the top of the tree.
This is his antler,
Oh.
and that's the top of the tree.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
They have treetops for antlers.
Oh, I see. Cute.
I really love this design, but I haven't spent tons of time on it. My WIP-GO of my second WIP-GO project of November was cute boots. Joe Gattenby for X's and O's. And I got his whole head done.
It's so cute.
And I started on the body. And I made some kind of counting mistake. Because I didn't want to switch colors. I wanted to finish that thread. And then when I'm going through, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not fitting where it's supposed to. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it does. So, and I have a working copy that I'm using and trying to cross stuff out. But, when you're using the color, you're not crossing it out after every single stitch. You're stitching some and, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I did.
Yeah, that's it.
But I almost, when I got the head done, I almost stopped and just went back to do the back stitching on the head rather than leaving it for the end. But I decided to go ahead and leave it for the end because once you get the pattern all finished and you go, oh, I have to do the back stitching now. You don't want it to feel like that. So anyway, I'm really happy. I have put him on next year's WIP-GO. Next year, all of my WIP-GO projects are all WIPs. There's no new starts, but they're all only 10 days. So that if I want to do a new start, I have 10 other days to do it.
I haven't even looked at what I'm going to do for WIP-GO.
So my WIP-GO calls for, well, let me talk about that in a minute. So I continue to do work on the Nativity Berry, Erica Michaels.
You're
And-
so much further along than I didn't work on mine at all since last time I did.
And this is where I am. I am
It's so
getting,
pretty.
I love it. It's beautiful. I am getting close to getting the clothing done here. I don't have Joseph's arm in. I noticed when I was doing this that their clothing goes right down to the tip. So again, I'm supposed to sew right through that stitching.
Aw. I don't like to sew through my stitching.
I don't want to sew through my stitching, but you know that's the way it's designed, and it's going to be close. But see, if you look at it here, the stitching is all the way down to the end. But that's the way the design is, and so I may tweak it just a little bit so that I'm not freaking myself out. But and sorry about I am not sick. I know my throat is scratchy, but I've been having major asthma issues, and as a matter of fact, ended up in the ER on Saturday. That is a story, but I'm trying to breathe, but my voice gets all scratchy. So the other thing is the snowflake ornament, cross stitching for fun. Snowflake ornaments. I'm doing the deer first. And I've changed the gold yet again. I liked the way I did it the second time better, but I still kept looking at it going, it doesn't look like the picture, because it's not, I don't know, it looked too thin then, So I picked up some gold etoile, and I put that in, and I am very happy with the result. I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do a whole lot other than changing that out and adding some more to the deer, because I just didn't do a lot of anything. Just having running around and having Mary Lou here and not feeling well. Excuse me, let me get a drink. So my 2 WIP-GO calls for December. One is, this is Art Deco Spring. And this is the progress I have so far.
Is that the one with the bugs?
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny that you're making a pattern with bugs.
Yeah, it is funny. So this is done basically in a circle. And so I started in the middle and was going around the circle. Then I'm going to make the next, the next circle is these little pieces. And then there's this bigger one. And then comes all this border stuff. I know from working on their bookmarks, those borders are deceptively, they look easy, but they're kind of, they're not just one color, they're kind of intricate. So I love these patterns. I have all 4 seasons. The summer season is dragonflies, and that is what drew me to the designs. I saw somebody post their work on the dragonflies excuse me, on embroidery.com. And then my other WIP-GO call, it's easier for me to bring it up here than go figure out what I did with the printout. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves.
No, I was looking at this, I'm going to show a picture of this pattern. Take a picture for me. This one here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a picture of, oh, you can see it. Hang on. Oops, sorry. Don't look at it. There's a pattern here next to it.
You can hold it. No.
Oh, I can fold it. I don't want to mess your magazine up.
No.
But
It's
this
not in here.
this picture, it shows Santa on the roof, and this bag, it says toys on it. But the way it's positioned, it looks like Santa has a big old butt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Does it not look like
Yeah.
Santa has a big old butt? Big old butt Santa?
There must be a skateboard or something in that
I
bag.
guess. It's kind of a very strangely shaped bag. I thought that was very... Sorry.
Well, I thought it was in here. It's not. The second WIP-GO call is a Stitching with the Housewives new start. It's a snow globe. And I already bought a snowman to put it on and all that, so I wanted to do that. But part of me is going, well, you know, I do have that OMG, they got me a tree. I do have another project that I'm going to talk to you about here in a second. Do I need to start that one?
You could be like Beth, just start all the things all the time, every day.
Yes. But but what I did buy, what I did decide to start was, well, I'm thinking about starting it. I got this pattern. It's a gnome that looks like a Christmas tree, and he's so cute.
Love.
And it's by Mediate. No. Where did I get that? Who's it by? Sorry, I should know this. But I just bought it, I don't know, day before yesterday. So, you'd think they'd have their name here. It was a ad on Instagram, and I was like, that is so cute. I kept saying, but I don't crochet very much anymore. But it's so cute. I'll have Naomi put the name of the company under here because I'm not finding it. And
It's so cute.
I went... running around with...
You're buying it at Hobby Lobby while I was shopping? I was getting glasses.
Running around, Beth needed to go back to Walmart, and there's a Hobby Lobby right there. So I picked up some threads for it. Yarn.
It's so cute.
And
I like that green. You were worried about that green. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
and then I think these Jingle bells are too big. But I wanted multicolor. I didn't want them all one color, and I didn't find any smaller. But they said you I have chenille sticks. I don't know where they are. I know I have a whole bunch. They're $1. I bought some more. Because you're supposed to put it in his little hat so that it'll curl over like that. So incredibly cute. And I just real excited. I want to start it. And it's not a big pattern. It's not a huge pattern. They show it, sitting in her hand like this big. And a long time ago, I used to crochet a lot of dolls. Mm-hmm. And I remember I sent one to Beth, and did I give you one?
Yeah, I have a gnome, a big one.
And not those dolls. A doll, a girl with a big dress.
Oh.
Yeah, I did crochet a gnome, and I crocheted a Sheldon.
Yeah,
Sheldon's over there on the counter, on the shelf. So projects like that I just really like them. So I'm going to segue into the giveaway.
Okay.
So you need to have your
Okay.
comment
First of
in
all, yeah,
the
we're having a
Wednesday before.
giveaway. Right.
The
We're having a
21st?
giveaway because we're almost to 100 episodes. We've been, I'll say entertaining. I hope we've been entertaining you for 2 years now. And our 100th episode is coming. It will be airing on Christmas Day. So we're having a giveaway. We're doing 3 things. Eve's providing something, Beth's providing something, and I'm providing something. And they're going to be 3 separate giveaways. And so that's where, and then so she's going to talk about what she's got.
So theoretically, one of them will be this bag. This bag is giving me a headache. So it may not look exactly like this, or I may throw this in the trash and start a new one. But it'll be a bag like this. And the other one is a bag with these materials. Because I was not feeling well, I was having a lot of trouble sewing. I sat down at my sewing machine and for a few minutes. The other side is
The other fabric, yeah.
Sweaters
and mittens.
and cocoa.
And socks.
Yeah. And I couldn't hold the fabric steady because I was shaking. The medicine that I was taking for my asthma is a little more powerful than albuterol. And so I was like doing this. And it's really hard to sew when you cannot hold the fabric steady. So the person that gets the bags will get 2. And Beth, and you would say bag in your comment.
If you would like to enter the drawing for the bags.
And we will be drawing those the week before Christmas on the Wednesday before Christmas.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
the
mentioned
21st.
it last week. I'll look up the date because I can't remember from one moment to another. I have a goldfish memory. You need to have your comment into our videos by either last week's video, this week's video, which airs on the 4th, the 11th, or the 18th. Those videos we'll be accepting comments for the giveaway. So deadline for that will be the 21st of December. So, and then we will air.
So Beth's giveaway part is a pattern.
Is this,
We'll put a picture here.
yeah, Santa, Christmas delivery.
So her keyword is delivery, if you'd like to be considered
this
for
is
the
a
cross stitch.
Cottage garden samplings. I can never say that. Design, very colorful, very detailed.
Can I see it?
Including the threads and a pair of
Yes.
scissors.
I have all the threads and a little cable,
ring.
a little
I like
cable
that
ring.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then a pair of scissors. Yes.
Oh, this is so pretty. The sleigh is so ornate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have a photo. You will have already seen a photo of that. So that keyword for that giveaway is delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am, as I said earlier, so I'm giving away 3 Santas, knitted Santas that will sit on a paper cone. I'm going to send them to you like this, and then you can make your own cone just out of a sheet of paper. I'll give you those instructions as well. And so he can sit on we had him last week sitting on top
The
of
tree
something.
is right there if you want to.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
It's right
So and I have not blocked him yet. Like I said, I need to soak him and block him so his stitches will all stretch out. So this is Santa, and he's got a white face with curly hair in the back. I think last week I did an up-close photo of them. And the one I'm working on right now is the stripy one. And then I will also be making the color work Santa. So this is the one I have done. This is the one I'm starting today. And then this is the third one with a little bit of Fair Isle color work in it. So those 3 Santas will be included in my giveaway. And in addition to those 3 Santas, because I'm slightly crazy, I'm also going to be making, sorry for the fussling, ornaments out of these fabrics. This is one thing, my aunt was visiting, so I couldn't really work on fabric while she was there because she was in my craft room. But it's these 4 fabrics we'll be making a fabric star from. So I'm going to give 2 of those away. So it'll be 3 Santas and 2 stars with my giveaway. And like I said, my keyword is Santa. So, and if you want to be considered for all 3, you can put all 3 things in a sentence, all 3 keywords, which I realized it's pretty easy.
Yeah. But you can only win 1 of the 3.
Yeah.
Each person.
So if you
so
enter,
there's 3 winners.
Yeah. So we'll
ship anywhere.
Yeah, we'll ship anywhere, and we'll put everyone's name in 3 separate. Everyone who enters in 3 separate giveaway roulette wheels, and you can only win 1 prize. So that way we spread it around the fun, and so that is going on.
We ask that you be a subscriber, be over 18.
Yeah.
And
so that you can send us your contact information.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's our giveaway for 100 episodes. That's pretty exciting. It's amazing, actually. I was thinking about it.
So for stories, I'm going to talk about why I've been feeling so bad. I started a new asthma med. I think I mentioned it in the last video. And I had been coughing since I started it. And I just thought my body was trying to get used to the new medicine. And it got to where on Thanksgiving Day, just walking in and out of the house, carrying things, I was breathing very heavily and having trouble breathing. And after our video, that when we filmed last Saturday, I was just feeling horrible. And I decided to go ahead and make a trip to the ER because I needed to make sure that it wasn't something else. You know, women, heart attacks and stuff like that present differently. And you have to, okay, what's causing this? But the common consensus was that it was an allergic reaction to the medicine. And so I've been taking a Duaneb thing in my nebulizer pretty much as often as I can. And I'm feeling a lot better. I'm able to do a little bit more right now, but I'm struggling to do anything for any length of time. I have energy and I get up to start doing stuff, and like 5 or 10 minutes later I have to sit down. So, and before I wasn't able to walk across the room without getting out of breath. So, but I always feel silly. You're like, is this really an emergency? I'm going to the emergency room. Maybe I should just go to urgent care. But the problem is, in urgent care, they cannot check your heart as clearly as they can in an emergency room. And I knew that if I wanted to make sure it was my lungs and not my heart, I needed to go to an ER. But and so often people want to minimize. My aunt recently had a heart attack, and she didn't tell anybody for hours that she was having this pain, and because she didn't consider it important. And I would rather look silly, but the doctor in the ER couldn't have been nicer. We had really good conversations about what was going on, because they always tell me, well, you're oxygenating okay. Yeah, I'm oxygenating okay because I've been dealing with this all my life and I know how to breathe. But that doesn't mean it's easy to breathe, or that it doesn't hurt, Yeah. And so I am struggling with that. So I am so sorry that I do not have these bags completely made and finished, and that I am, one of the reasons I'm struggling with them is that I cannot hold my hands steady.
Yeah.
And I'm clipping the heck out of them with, but there's another way they can be made, and I might do that. I might just do it like that.
Well, you'll have them done by Christmas. So.
Oh yeah. I won't have somebody that I have to take care of here at the house for a while. So that'll help. But that was
Your adventure for the week?
my adventure for the week.
I don't know. I had a pretty quiet week. I guess right after we recorded last week, I had 2 shows. No, I didn't work Sunday, but I worked Saturday night. And
Didn't you take Mary Lou to a show?
I did. We went to the Disney concert, and that was really Disney.
Did she
Around the
enjoy
World.
it?
She did. She did.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and yeah, I guess that's what my week has been, is having Mary Lou at the house, which was a lot of fun. Although I did have to work. All day Monday and all day Tuesday.
And Friday.
So, and well, last Friday, yeah. But this week I've had a lot of days off, which is kind of nice. But it was funny. Saturday night, my poor colleague Adam got like every weird problem, every angry person that came to the box office. One guy, he came up and he said, "I'm a subscriber," which they always want to tell you they've been a subscriber for 10,000 years. Which means, I don't know, we should treat them somehow special. But, I mean, and we do. Don't get me wrong. We're nice especially to our subscribers. We're nice to everybody. But he comes up and he says, "I forgot my parking pass." Because we do these prepaid parking passes. It's just a convenience. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to have cash, or whatever when they go to the garage. And also because sometimes the garages on busy days
Runs out of cash.
They raise the prices.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So we offer this as a convenience. So he comes and he's like, "I forgot my parking pass, and I had to pay parking. So can you please refund my parking pass?" And we have a strict no refund policy, but we have a very lenient exchange policy. Mm-hmm. So Adam said, "I can't refund it, but I can exchange it into a future date, future performance if you, want to use it for another time." And he became furious. He thought that we should refund him because he forgot his parking pass.
If it's that important.
He would not quit. And Adam said it was weird because he was just like looking down. He could not look at him, but he was furious. And he just kept on and on and on about how we should do this for him. And we're like, "You forgot your pass. You forgot it. Now, if you had come to us before you paid for that, we would have reprinted it for you happily." Mm-hmm.
But he'd already paid for it.
And it was like, so my manager had to go and say, "I'm sorry, we can't refund you, but we can exchange you." And I guess he finally acquiesced to that at some point, but I said what the problem was. He didn't want to go tell his wife he had to pay another $15. That's why he's so upset.
Because she probably said, "Do you have the pass?" "Oh yeah, I got it."
Exactly. That was one too many times he forgot something, I bet. But and you feel bad, but
and when you're running out to something like that, and somebody says, "You got the tickets," and the other person's like, "Yeah, I got the tickets."
I know. So we were preparing the will call boxes. So this weekend, I'm taking them and Rachel and Eli all to a Holiday Pops on Friday night for fun. I think I've only been to the Holiday Pops concert one time in the times I've lived here, so I'm excited to go. It'll be fun. So we were making the will call boxes for the weekend, and my tickets are always kept under will call. And so I told my colleague, I'm like, "If you see my tickets, set them aside for me because I think I'll take them with me." And so he did. And then I was about to take them and put them in my purse, and I thought, "No, you know what? I'm going to put them in the box so that we can get them on Friday night," because I'm like, I do not want to accidentally
arrive there and not have them.
I mean, no, it's no problem because I will go to the box office. This is what you do, ladies and gentlemen. If you forget your tickets,
Public service announcement,
you can get them reprinted. However, you have to make sure that you actually purchase them on the correct website. I'm going to tell you sad stories now. There are third-party, I think I've already said this, public service announcement. There are third-party sites out there that will take tickets. They will buy tickets to a concert that isn't even sold out and then put them up for sale for 3 to 4 times the ticket price. There was a lady I helped. She called me. She said, I only received 4 of the 6 tickets I bought, and or 6 of the 8. She had bought 8 tickets. I only received 6 of the 8 tickets I bought, and I was wondering, I don't know why. And so I said, what's your order number? And she reads it off to me, and I'm like, that's not our order number. And I said, what seats are they? So, because I can go into the performance and look up the actual seats and see who bought it, and it was not her. And I'm like, I hate to ask you this, but how much did you pay? So she had bought 4 seats down on the floor, and 4 for her party of 8. She bought 4 on the floor and 4 in the balcony, because that was all that was left. Because these people put those on this website as though we only had 8 seats left, and her party had to split up between the balcony and the floor. And the ones on the floor were in the very back, and they were like $45 seats, and she paid $160 a piece for those seats. And $140.
And she's trying to support the arts, you know.
$140 per seat for the ones in the balcony that were like $50 or something. And
oh my God.
I feel sick to my stomach when I have to tell these people this. And I'm like, I said, what website were you on? And she said, ticketcenter.com. Do not go to them. Go to the arts organization itself. And so do not use them. I don't care if I get sued by them, because I guess it's legal, but I find it highly immoral to resell tickets like that. And so if you go onto the actual arts organization website, there's always links to buy tickets, and you can see the real situation in the house. And I felt so bad. But actually, what I told her was, I said, your credit card company can reverse those charges because you did not receive. So if they receive the goods that they paid for, the credit card company a lot of times won't do it. But I said, but since you only received 6 and you did not receive those other 2, call them right now before they figure it out and send them to you, and refuse that charge. And she did, and she called me back and got tickets.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah,
all together.
All together. I said, we're gonna put you together for half as much as what you paid. So she bought like price 1 seats, and I told my manager, I said, I guess we can charge more because people are out there buying that. But then then we also can't legitimately fill the hall at the same time. It's so frustrating. So the other thing that happened similar was this one lady bought tickets, and she called me about a problem with them. I can't remember what it was. And I said, ma'am, that performance is... She said something about Symphony Hall. I said, that performance is at the Orpheum. And she's like, it's at the Orpheum. It said it was Symphony Hall. And I'm like, oh, I know. Yeah. And I'm like, no. And she's like... And then she told me how much she'd paid. It was the same story. I think it was the same website. And I said, no. She was like, I'm going to call and refuse them and say that they sold me, that they falsified what they sold me because and that I don't want to go to the Orpheum. And so she did. She called them back and refused the charge. And then she called, I happened to get her again, and she's like, I want to buy tickets for the Orpheum, for that concert in the Orpheum. I said, I thought you didn't want to go to the Orpheum. She goes, that's what I told them. But, so it's awful. But then the other thing that happens, I mean, it like I said, it might be legal, but they're charging, 2 and 3 times as much. I mean, it's what happens, right, with Taylor Swift, right? So somebody buys tickets, and it's a way to sell tickets you can't use, or, and I'm sure there's people who are making a giant livelihood like this. They buy $45 seats to some random performance, and they sell them on this website for 150 a piece. Somebody buys them and they just made a whole bunch of
Well,
money.
they do that to games
Yeah,
and stuff
it's just
like
so
that, too.
sad. But then what winds up happening is those poor people come to the box office and there's nothing we can do. So I can't do anything with that order, even though, because I see the person who bought it, I see their name, but I can't delete those tickets because they're a legitimate purchase. So I can't do anything, and we certainly can't exchange them, can't refund them, can't do anything. So the people who actually have the tickets in their hand, we can't do anything for at the box office. And it's really, because we're not allowed to change something on someone else's account, so we can't do anything, even though they're physically holding the ticket in their hand and say they need to exchange one or something. We can't do it.
Yeah.
It's very sad. It's very, very sad. So I'm just saying, if you're going to go to a performance, go to the actual. So what happens too is like people search the Phoenix Symphony and they just get that, ticketcenter.com or whatever. There's a whole bunch of them. It's not just that one. Instead of actually going to the actual organization's website and looking at, and going from there. Because anytime anybody calls, I'm having trouble, I'm like, what website are you on? What website are you on?
Yeah, when I worked at Family Life,
frustrating.
we had a problem with people because people would do a search and it takes you to some some link that's not the actual website. Just like I've gone online to look for cross-stitch patterns, and like I want to go to that designer's or whatever website or even their Etsy shop. And I'll end up with anybody who carries that pattern, like, because it's at Hoffman or something.
Right.
And so there's several.
But that's at least a legitimate sale.
Yeah. But if I want to go to that website to look for that person's, like the newsletter or that, features on that specific designer's website, I have to make sure that I'm at that website and not at just wherever the pattern comes up. Because the pattern can come up on somebody else's Etsy shop and but not have whatever I'm looking for. So
there was a case.
So you have to be careful what you look at on the online because because those links will take you all kinds of different places.
Yeah, it's so sad, but we're doing good. I think we had a big, huge Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale last weekend, and we did pretty well. That's
good.
Holiday Pops sold like hotcakes.
I forgot to show everybody my new shirt.
What does it say?
Merry Force be with you.
It's cute. I thought about that. I was going to wear something Christmassy, and I totally forgot.
I bought it day before yesterday. Was it day before yesterday? I don't know. When we went shopping with Mary Lou at Walmart, I wasn't going to go inside because I felt awful, and I said, well, if I can get one of those carts, I will. And I was doing some Christmas shopping, and I was looking at the Christmas shirts, and I saw this, and I was like,
must have.
It was in the men's department.
That's all right.
Because the ones in the women's
All's fair.
The ones in the women's department were not as cute. They were too cutesy, I guess.
I need to think about what to wear to Holiday Pops. I need to wear something holiday-ish next Friday.
Is it going to be cold tomorrow?
Is it tomorrow? It is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Isn't it
I was going to say next Friday, but no, it is tomorrow. I don't know what day it is. That's one thing. I have lost all track.
I'm like, am I wrong? Isn't it tomorrow?
It is tomorrow.
Yeah, I have something like every weekend now because
next weekend we have the women's party.
The women's Bible study party is next. It's the 16th. It's the 16th. But on the 7th, I have I'm in this group at church called the Conversational English. So it's people who are learning English as a second language, and this gives them an opportunity to just have conversations and just practice their language skills. Like the other day, the last meeting we had, one of the things we talked about was the difference between ERs and urgent care, because they're learning the language and they're learning to navigate their insurance, which is new to them and things like that.
And syntax and
and when, under what circumstance, what the difference is between urgent care and emergency room, and under what circumstances you would go to one or the other. And so that was one thing we were talking about. But we're having a party, so I have to make those tortilla pinwheel things.
I have a lot of appointments that day, by the way. So when I lived in Belgium, my landlord was a 70-year-old man and his wife, wonderful people, and we couldn't just go drop off a check. That was rude. So we had to go in and have some coffee and have some conversation. And they had learned English in school when they were young. So they loved the opportunity to practice. So they would try to have a conversation in English, and then they would try to teach me some of the words in French, because I was living in the French part of Belgium. Those of you who don't know, Belgium is close to the English Channel, and half of it speaks Flemish and the other half speaks French, because the side that's closer to Norway speaks Flemish, and the side that's closer to France speaks French.
It's like if you watch Hercule Poirot, everybody thinks, all those English people think he's French, but he's really Belgian.
Yes. and every sign in Brussels, the capital, every sign is in 4 languages. And I remember going into it was a lace store. I was buying some Belgian lace items. And there was a sign on the register that said, if you can't read this sign, don't ask for a job. It was a simple sign, but they needed people that were able to speak more than one language. And but they just loved being able to practice because they were taught it 1,000 years ago, but didn't have the opportunity to have a conversation.
When I was in school, I guess when I was in college, I think that was when I started, or maybe, I don't know if it was in high school or in college, but I had a pen pal who was in France, and I think her father was a gendarme. Her name was, I want to say, what was it?
I kind of remember this.
Maybe it was Arnell or something like that. And when she was in school, so we would write back and forth and talk a little bit about, our lives and what was going on. But then when she finished school, she was, not speaking English on a regular basis, and so it was, so I could tell that the difference in her. She was struggling to find the right words in English because she just didn't use it as often, and then we sort of lost contact. But yeah, it was you could tell that now she's using English, now she's not using it.
When we very first got to Belgium, we were in a little apartment above a bar until we found where we were going to live. We had to go to the base and check the things that the base allowed us to rent from. People had to get listed that they were not going to murder us in our sleep, I guess. And so we're living over this bar, and we're in one room, and then next door to our room was the daughter or granddaughter of the people that ran the bar. And you want to talk about culture shock? That bar was culture shock. Because while we had a bathroom we could use up there, the bathrooms for the bar were outside in the back. And it was just like a little door stall thing, and male or female. And sometimes when you're walking out to the vehicle, they'd be like, hi. But I remember she would try to speak English to us, and she kept using the word easy when she didn't understand the word. or couldn't figure out what the word was, she would use easy. And so when I think of her, I always think of that word easy. She'd be easy? No, easy. She would do stuff like she was a teenager, so maybe 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
And she would try to help us, if we were asking her where this is or where that is, because basic information on how to find like the houses that we were looking at to live in, was there on the boards, but you had to get there to where the boards were because we weren't on base. So, yeah, it's always interesting when you don't get to speak the second language or third language or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I am horrible with languages. I should know 4, and I don't. I should know. I speak English, right? But I grew up in a.
No, I'm just kidding. Mostly.
I grew up in a Spanish-speaking family, so I should speak that. I studied German in high school.
Yeah.
And I lived in a French-speaking country.
Right.
I should know 4. Yeah, I don't.
I picked up. I actually was, like, when I was in high school, I took German also in high school, and I took a year in college. But it's kind of, I thought, well, people tell you, well, you should have taken Spanish because it would be so easy, and then you could, but actually, yeah, I do kind of regret it, but at the same time, because I took German as a musician, you have to take a foreign language, and having taken German, it really helped me because all the languages that like if you're playing in orchestra music, there's some pieces that are the instructions, they're all written in English nowadays, but for the most part, or I should say, there's some terms that are in English, but for the most part you have to know French terms and German terms and Italian terms, and so it really gave me a good background because like she said, our relatives all, spoke Spanish, our parents and aunts and uncles and some of our cousins. It's kind of, I would say it's kind of a crapshoot. Like these cousins speak Spanish, these cousins don't. This one cousin speaks Spanish, but their sibling doesn't. And, and all that kind of thing. And I can understand it a great deal when my parents speak it. But sometimes when other people from another household, mm-hmm. they speak it too fast or they use different terms or whatever, and I'm like, I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
If I see it written, I can kind of understand it too. And then German, of course, I can kind of understand enough to, sort of, if I watch a movie that's where it's maybe there's subtitles, but they're speaking German or whatever, I can kind of understand what they're saying. And so, but because I have those languages, then French and Italian, I can kind of figure out what they are because they're all Romance languages like Spanish. So Spanish, French, Italian, things like that are all similar. And then German and things like Norwegian and Swedish and things like that are all kind of, related. And so I'm sort of in the middle. I don't really understand everything, and I don't really speak everything, but I kind of have a vague understanding.
Well, I took a continuing education class in Spanish because I thought, well, I should guess, I took German. I guess I should speak Spanish, and I took this continuing education, and I think I took the intermediate one. And I sat there and went, I already know all this. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to...
This is a pencil.
Yeah. My grandma used to get frustrated.
Because you're not able to speak it. And I didn't understand how to, conjugate verbs and stuff like that, mm-hmm. I guess. But I wanted to be able to communicate. I didn't want to be able to write sentences. And so it's always hard to know where you fall in the line of what they consider beginner, because to me, I would be beginner not because I don't know a lot of the words. I know a lot of the words, but how do I put them together and make a sentence?
Yeah.
You know,
I started doing Duolingo actually in 2020. I was really doing well, and I know some people have opinions.
I was doing that too, and I enjoyed it. But
actually, I had started talking to Mom and Dad about it a lot. And right before Mom passed, I had started to say, I think I'm ready for you to just speak to me in Spanish so that, I could start to learn. And actually, one of my colleagues, of course, and then she passed away, and then I got sad, and I couldn't even open Duolingo. But one of my colleagues, so two of my colleagues at work, well, one has moved on, but they both spoke Spanish. And so when I arrived at the symphony, there was a third colleague who was trying to learn, and so he would communicate with them in Spanish, and he would always, his accent wasn't great, but he would he would say a sentence kind of with a question mark at the end, like, is that the way you say it? And they would very lovingly, correct him, and they would communicate with him because he was trying to learn, and I'm like, that's very admirable, and I want to, I'm like, yeah. So to explain, at least in my experience, our parents kind of used Spanish like a code language around us. They spoke to each other and they spoke to all of our relatives. And a lot of times if they would want to say stuff around us that they thought we wouldn't understand, they would speak to each other in Spanish. At least when I was growing up. That's what I remember.
And they were talking about what to buy us for Christmas.
What to buy us for Christmas, or where to go to lunch, and they didn't want to talk about a restaurant in front of us before they decided. Just like Mark and I are like, hey, I want to go, we do it. It just, but, so that's what I remember. And it's a shame. And Mom always regretted that she didn't, sort of force us more when we were young to speak.
Well,
and I think
but it was a different era.
It was. And I think Dad wanted us to be fluent in English and to just do the thing.
So actually, Mom and Dad said that when we were very young, that we were fairly bilingual. Mm-hmm. That they could speak to us in Spanish, or we could understand, and we could speak to them in Spanish. I guess, I don't know. But then probably once we started school,
Yeah.
And
it was not in fashion to do languages at school, in elementary school.
Yeah, it was considered your child will do better in school if they only speak English.
Mm-hmm. But then, with Mom and Dad speaking Spanish, Mom and Dad or Mom and Mary Lou would speak Spanish, in front of me, and it was like after a while I could understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
Especially because when I was a freshman in high school, we started going to Bethany, and it was a Spanish Baptist church, and so the service was sort of half and half in English and Spanish, and because it was Bible verses and hymns that I knew in English,
right?
That I could kind of
but
I think see more of what Again, that's why written it's
like you, I understand it when it's spoken. That's Mary Lou was asking me that, but I don't feel comfortable speaking it. Yeah. And I think that's the piece that was missing.
That's part that understanding and responding are two different things.
And I really do wish I had learned, and I kind of would like to explore that again. And I think also it increases your marketability in this town too. I was looking at, not that I'm searching for jobs, but I was looking at, I think it's Ballet, Arizona, that you, to work in the ticket office, you have to speak Spanish. You have to be fluent. So I thought that's pretty cool too.
When I worked at Family Life, there was a time when we had some Spanish language materials, and there was a number they were supposed to call to speak to someone in Spanish. But for a while, I guess before that number, they got people to man that number or whatever, we would get calls every once in a while, from someone who didn't really speak English. And so it was frustrating because we didn't really have anybody in the department that spoke Spanish, but sometimes I would get the call because I could understand what they were saying, or they would say,
weren't you embarrassed though?
I was, because
that's how I feel. I feel
people
so
would talk to me and say, because I was kind of a manager. I wasn't really, I was in management basically. But so they would say, could you come and talk to this person because I can't, she's speaking Spanish or whatever, and so I could understand what they were saying, and I might have like a few words, or one or two words that I could, try to communicate. But it was very frustrating for me because I could not, I knew what they were looking for, or I knew what they needed or whatever,
Right.
but I couldn't
On
make
the
them
other hand,
understand,
On the other side of this, all of us have said we understand quite a bit of Spanish, not being able to respond. But if somebody speaks Spanish to me, I usually understand what they're asking. I just don't know how to respond, right? And quite a few times, not just once, not just twice, quite a few times in both New Mexico and Florida, maybe here once or twice, but they're people will say nasty things about you in Spanish because I have very light skin. So I don't look Hispanic, right? And and sometimes I ignore it, because who are they? I don't care, right? Sometimes if it's somebody who's like an employee there or something like that, I will turn around and say, before you start saying nasty things in another language, you should probably make sure that person doesn't understand it. I don't care if people think I'm white, because I don't think it's important what color somebody's skin is. I am not ashamed of my heritage, but I'm not, out there going viva la raza either. So denigrating Hispanics in general, would sometimes get a response from me. It's like, the best policy is to just not. Just don't. If somebody, I've had at businesses in English, people say stuff like, do you remember that time we were checking out at a grocery store and we didn't notice the lane was closed? She had a little lane closed thing on there, and we said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and we moved over to the next lane. And as we were paying, I could hear her laughing with another employee, about us being so stupid that we didn't see that the lane was closed and we stood there in line waiting to be helped, right? And I actually went to that person's manager because I was like, you don't laugh about your customers or, at your customers where they can hear you.
Yeah. And they were speaking Spanish?
No. They were speaking English.
It was you guys before I moved here.
They were speaking English.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it would have been just as bad if they were speaking Spanish. But it's just...
Yeah.
If you're working somewhere and you think one of the people in the place is like, nutty or whatever,
so I had
keep your mouth shut.
I had a dangerous. So I was on the phone, and I wasn't going to say anything bad, but this shirt is driving me nuts. It keeps writing back. Anyway, I was on the phone, and I said goodbye to the patron, and she said goodbye. And I wasn't going to say anything bad, but what I was going to say was, I'm so nice to our board members, or something like that. But right before it came out of my mouth, I looked at my phone, and her name was still there. And I was like, press the X. And I said to my colleague, I'm like, do you ever have those moments where you're about to say something stupid, and you realize they're still on the phone? They can still hear you.
There reminds me of when I used to work at Family Life. I had a good friend named Danny Allen, and he was married. And so when he and his wife would, converse, whatever, they would always say to each other, "Goodbye, I love you," right? And so, but so Danny Allen worked as a customer service rep when he first started there, and at some point. He was talking with a customer, and blah 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 blah, and they were I guess she was satisfied, the customer, And so as he hung up, he said, "Okay, thank you, goodbye, I love you." Oops.
There's a thing like that in Courageous, in the movie Courageous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I always, when I answer the phone, I always say, "Thank you for calling Phoenix Symphony. This is Naomi. How can I help you?" And the other day, my cell phone was sitting right beside me like this, and the phone rang. And when that phone rang, my cell phone started to ring. So I had the headphones on, and I pressed the button to my work phone, but I was looking at my cell phone, and I said, "Hello?" Because my brain was thinking that that's how I would answer that. But, you know, it took me a long time to stop saying the wrong company when I switched from the Phoenix Symphony to Arizona Music Fest. I was like, oh, no.
I was going to say, when we were talking about what we had done this week. So I went to Walmart like 3 times in a row. Because the first time we were just going to get a few things, and because we're doing Angel Tree at our church, and I went in there to, where was I? We weren't at the other Walmart.
The first time you went to pick up a prescription.
Yeah, I went to pick up a prescription, and
Eve has a catalog of your times at Walmart.
there was, but I didn't want to.
Because I hate going to Walmart.
I didn't want to get. I have a prescription for a new pair of glasses, but we were. I don't know what I got the prescription and some other things, and I had wanted to get the glasses, but I knew it would take a long time. So I was just talking to a lady at the Vision Center about what I wanted to do or whatever, and she was telling me a little bit about what the schedule was like and blah blah blah. And so I was thinking, okay, yeah, I don't want to do it right now because we were my aunt was visiting. We're in a hurry. We had to do this and that and the other. So so I got the prescription and a few things and went out. But then I realized, I have to go back because I really wanted to get my glasses turned in. So we were going to go to get the glasses, and blah blah blah, and we decided for some reason. Oh, Eve was saying she wanted to look at the clothing section, and that she kind of wanted to go to this other Walmart to see if they had a better selection than the one we usually go to. But
because the one we usually go to is small.
Yeah, but she didn't want to go to this other one because she kind of didn't want to because it's kind of grungy and weird and horrible. So then I thought, well, there's this other Walmart that's just right off the freeway.
In a town like Phoenix, we have multiple choices of where to go.
So it's further away, but it's a very nice thing and it's very big and he's like, yeah, and that way if I don't really feel good, I can just sit in the restaurant and wait for you guys. So we went to this other Walmart. So it was very big, and I was, like I said, I was getting Angel Tree gifts, and so I was looking for a certain kind of shirt for this kid, and that kind of took a long time because what do I know about kids? So I was like trying to find. I was like, this person put that the child wanted either Paw Patrol, or it said and PJ Masks. And I was like, PJ Mask? Is that another, what is that? PJ Mask. And so I actually had to put it in my phone to see what PJ Mask is. And it's another kid's cartoon, but, but anyway, so I finally decided on something for the Angel Tree gift. But I also wanted to I thought, I want to get like a coloring book or something for this kid because I wanted something fun. So anyway, it took a long time, in the store. And so then Eve texted me that she was done and she was in the car with my aunt and everything. And so I thought, yeah, I think I need I'll go. So then I was getting in the van and she asked me, well, did you get your glasses? And I was like, no, I forgot to. I didn't, and I kind of like, well, I didn't want to get them there because then when it's time to pick them up, we had to go there again.
Way over there, yeah.
So I didn't get them, but I wanted to get them. So the next day we went to Walmart again, to the one near the house, and I went to get my glasses, and it took a long time. By the time you choose And I am getting 2 pairs of glasses. I'm getting I'm getting a pair of bifocals, which is what these are. And I almost I meant to take these with me because I really, really like these frames. And I thought, well, do I want to get, but I'm getting a pair of bifocals and I'm getting a pair of single vision lenses. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted them to be 2 different frames because when I played in the symphony, everybody who wore glasses, who wore bifocals, you had 2 pairs of glasses because you had one for reading music because you couldn't, because if your eyes roll up and down the page, you can't be having a change in focus, So at the beginning of rehearsal, everybody switch out their glasses from their bifocals to their single vision lenses, and I knew they had to be 2 different frames because my colleague in the symphony had made the mistake of getting her 2 pairs of glasses with exactly the same frames, and so she did not know if she had the right pair of glasses until So like I don't want to make that mistake. So anyway, so one pair, actually, my single vision glasses are of this same frame, and then my bifocals are a new frame. But hopefully those will be ready by the 7th, I think she said. So, but anyway, so that's why we went to Walmart 3 times. And I did find the coloring book for the kid. So
Look at my stripies.
It's cute.
So I'm using double points. So we had a scare last night.
Mm-hmm.
So we all decided to go to bed at a decent hour because the night prior, all 3 of us were up to ungodly hours. And Eli did not feel good yesterday. So we were all like, let's go to bed. So we go to bed. Mark and I get in bed. And I get a text from Eli. Because his room is all the way across the house from us. So texting is a thing.
Yeah.
So he texts me and he says, can you please come to my room? And I'm like, no way. So I texted him back. I'm like, what? Or no. I called him. So I'm too lazy. So I call him and he goes, I think there's somebody standing outside Tom and Jenny's house. Our across the street neighbors. And I'm like, okay, we'll be right. Mark and I both get up and just haul it down the hallway. And stupid me, I didn't take my glasses. But Mark went to the front door and I went to Eli's room because Eli's room is in the front of the house. And sure enough, in the doorway, it looked like there was a person standing there. So Mark got out his binoculars, and I don't know what it is. I need to look at it in the daylight, but it was something like some kind of stand, and it looked like they had a hoodie or something draped over it. Uh-huh. It did look like a person. Uh-huh. But it wasn't, so we all kind of investigated. Mark got his binoculars out. It's just across the street, but, we didn't want to go outside if there was somebody there. Yeah. So, but it was kind of scary, so we're like, well, that was a fun adventure.
Well, I had, when I lived in Little Rock, in my first apartment, I had very little furniture. And so... And I had a television. I had a tiny little television like this. And it was, so I had it like on the bottom shelf of my entertainment center. I had an entertainment center, but I had no television. So I would typically lie on the floor and watch my little TV. And and that is so sad. It was very sad. But so I'm lying on the floor, and I had,
That's back when TVs cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
They don't anymore.
And also I did not work full time at that point. Yeah. So I was home in the afternoon. I was watching TV, and I had the windows open, and I had my 2 cats, Hotspur and Cyrano, and I had the blinds, pulled up a little ways because I have cats. They would go like this with the blinds, and these are like 9-foot tall windows. And I thought, I don't want to have to pay for that, So anyway, so I had the blinds up, I had the windows open, and I'm lying down the floor in between. So there was a solid wall here, and then the 2 windows at an angle on either side of this solid wall. And I was on the floor looking at my pitiful little television. So it started to get, so it got dark, right? And so I'm watching TV, and at one point, the cats went and they jumped up on the windowsill, and the windowsills were like, low, like knee level, whatever, because of this it was an old turn of the century house. So the cats go and they jump up on the windowsill, and they're looking down like this, behind that center wall. And then they would run over here and jump up on the other windowsill and look like this. And they were going back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? I thought maybe there was an animal out there, And so I finally got up and I went to look out the window, and there was a guy crouching there. And I'm like, and I'm like, I'm going to call the police,
Oh
and so
gosh.
he took off, and and these were all these buildings where it was kind of like a little warren. You could get to the street behind our house. If you went, in the back of our house, it was open to the houses that faced on the other street there. And so he went out that way, and so, I didn't call the police because I thought, well, by the time I call them, what are they going to do? Yeah, there was a guy here and now he's gone. So I just
Close the windows
and so
shut the blinds.
So it freaked me out. But then a couple of nights later, I had the blinds closed and I was getting ready for bed, and I saw a shape, a silhouette on this window, and I couldn't tell if it was a person or not. But because there was a street light like right on the curb there on the sidewalk on the side of the house, and so it looked like a person, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to open the blinds to see if there was a person there. So I called, and of course, like you were talking about Mary Lou and the heart attack business, I didn't call 911. I called the non-emergency number because I thought, well, it's not really an emergency, is it? Of course it was.
Somebody
It was a
looking
person.
in your windows is an emergency.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I talked to the dispatcher person, and I said, and I told her how there was a guy outside the window the other day, and I said, and I think it might be a person outside the window again. And I said, I just didn't want to go look. And she was asking me, well, do you have like a weapon or something in the house? And I'm like, I have a tiny little bat, like those little
Those little little sluggers or whatever.
Yeah. They give you that you can get like a souvenir. So I had a little tiny bat like this. I'm like, we have a little bat. But anyway, so I sat there and then finally the police came, and they had this guy's ID, because they said as they were coming down the street, they saw this guy walking down the street. And so they stopped him and talked to him, and he said he was just going to blah 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 street. And so they brought his ID, not him in person, but they brought his ID to me and knocked on my door and asked me, is this the guy you saw the other night? And I said, it could be. He looked vaguely similar to the guy I saw. And so I said, well, it could be, but I can't say for sure that it is, but it could be him. And so they told me that he had said, I'm just going over to 9th Street or whatever. I live off of 9th Street. And if you think about it logically, there's no reason for him to be going down my street.
Right.
Because where he was coming from, supposedly, it's more direct,
That is so creepy.
Yeah, so it was, but then fortunately, after I talked to the police that night, he never didn't come around. But I came to find out that he had been seen in the neighborhood several times.
Oh, jeez.
In my apartment, it was a turn of the century house, and I was in the middle, what was originally the back of the original house. But in front, there were two apartments, and they had like real tall windows that went to the porch floor. And this guy that lived in the other corner over there, he said that he was on the floor with a friend. He was like a friend was giving him a massage or whatever. I don't know. So he had he had his blinds up about 6 inches or something off the floor. And he said that the guy that lived in the building next door was coming home from work or something, and he saw a guy lying on the porch looking in the window of this guy's apartment. Yeah. And so he said, get out of there. And so the guy left. And then I also found out that, and I think it was the same guy from the general description. And I also found out that this other apartment building, actually the one that I moved to, my second apartment, But that in that apartment, a friend of mine was house sitting there, and she said that there on the mailboxes, somebody had left a note that said, warning all the first floor residents that this guy had been seen looking in the windows. And I think it was that same guy.
Jeez.
And fortunately, like I said, after I called the police, he, didn't look in any more windows. So maybe that was, put the fear of God in him or something. But I was like, ugh, that's very creepy.
That's very creepy.
I had a few encounters with the police over the years when I lived down there. It was like all very creepy encounters. But yeah,
Yikes.
the guy with the looking in the windows was probably the creepiest. Oh, well, there was a guy looking in the windows, the guy that broke my windows,
Yeah.
and then the guy who was like in his girlfriend's face, about to put his hands on her. Those are my it's like go police. And that time I stayed back where they couldn't see me. Like
Yeah. Oh, that's creepy. Look at my stripes.
Oh, I meant to say I took my cat Puck, the one that was covered in blood last time. I took him to the vet, and now he's taking pills. But he has I got these little pill pockets that are catnip flavored, and so I put the pill in the
Do they
little pill
work?
pocket and give it to him. Yes, he's taking them very eagerly because he loves to eat anything. But so Puck was looking at me like, why did I get a treat?
What about me?
Yeah, and so I said, okay, I'll give him one just to, And so I gave him one without a pill in it, of course. But I gave him the little thing, and he's like, so Snug got a second treat, just because Puck tasted it and spit it out.
Well,
I
it's not worth
I
it.
knew you would like it.
Have you seen a video of this one dog who gets medicine all the time, and the other dog's like, so I think they have to like give him
Pretend.
fake medicine or something. I don't know. It was so cute.
It reminds me of that. There's a commercial for Las Vegas, I think, and this man is telling he's like pretending to read a book, I think, or he's telling his little kid they have broccoli this and broccoli that, and everything's made of broccoli, and the kid's like, I don't think I want to go to Vegas.
That reminds me of, it's the opposite, but when Eli was very little, he got a wish trip granted, and he wanted to go to Disney World, so we went to they have this, it's the Sunshine Foundation, and they have like a village, and the village is very cool. There's like putt-putt there, and you stay in these little cottages that are painted all funky, like you're in some fantasy, and so it was a lot of fun, except for the warning to stay off the grass because of fire ants. So put a little damper on the wish trap. But anyway, so we go there, and at the time, he was pretty little and afraid of like the unknown, and he would kind of get anxious about stuff. Like if he knew there was a fire drill going to happen that day, it was almost worse to tell him than to surprise him, kind of thing, because then he'd be like anxious about it or whatever. So it was that kind of thing. But he woke up the day we were supposed to go to Disney World, all this build up, and poor thing, you're little, and it's all this build up, and he wakes up and he goes, I don't want to go. And we're like, we came all this way to Florida. And we're like, why not? He goes, it's my wish trip, and I don't want to go to Disney World. And Mark and I are like, oh no. What are we going to do? And so I'm a genius. I said, son, do you know that on Main Street in Disney World, there is a store that has nothing but candy? And he was like, really? Yeah. We can go there first. And he's like, okay. If anybody knows my son, they know that that's not ironic.
It's like that store at Astroworld that has nothing but bread. That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, I forgot
No,
about that. Didn't we get little tiny loaves?
yeah, you
like
could get
that?
a little tiny loaf of bread.
I liked that store.
I did too. But yeah, no, it was because there is, and I knew, that there was a store. It was all candy. And so we went there and got him a sucker as big as his face, and he was happy about that. But it was so funny because he was like, I'm not going. We're like, that's not part of the plan for you to not go. But he was so cute. We went to the beach, and we got out of the car, and we went with my dad and we got out of the car, and he saw the beach, and he went tearing across, toward the water, and I was like, Mark, there he goes. So Mark, because I had little Hannah, she was like 2-ish. No, if he was 6, she would have been 4, 3 or 4, and so I had Hannah and all the stuff and everything. So Mark took off after him, and we did not see him again. I mean, they were in the water the whole time. Eli would not get out of that water. He loved it. It was so funny. It was just like, there he goes.
when I took Robert to the beach when he was little like that, he was cold, and he didn't want out of the water.
Yeah.
And yes, it does get cold in Florida.
Yeah. Hannah was on the beach playing. She enjoyed. I don't remember if she got. I think she did get in the water a little bit. I don't have a lot of memory, but I do remember that was the first time I exposed my child to a soda. That's kind of mom I was. And my dad had brought the food, and all he brought was Sprite, and I was like, okay, here, have a Sprite. And she was like, what is this magic? Oh, shoot.
You mess up your Shanta?
No, yes. No. I mean, I was supposed to do a decrease, and I forgot. But that was a fun trip. Except for, that was, oh yeah, so no, I can't remember, she was pretty little. That was when she unbuckled herself in the plane as we were going down, not taxiing, but taking off down the runway. She decides to take her seatbelt off and walk down the aisle. I'm like, child, come back. That was a fun. She was so scared of all the creatures in Disneyland, all the characters. She was so scared. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I guess we better go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and try to bake some cranberry bread. Is my adventure for the day. I think maybe.
What's today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday. Tomorrow we go to Holiday Pops.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Tomorrow is the Jingle Ball. I can't always say it wrong. Jingle Ball. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm hoping that, all the stuff that Lindy Stitches is hosting it, I guess, or it's her deal. And so she's put several tutorials and messages, explaining it and everything. And she had said in one of her earlier ones that it's better to use a computer than like an iPad or something like that. But I know it's basically like some sort of Zoom technology or something like that. But I don't know. So I'm hoping that it'll work on my tablet because my computer's out here in the living room, and I don't have a laptop or anything. So I'm hoping I can use my tablet. But my tablet has been getting fussy, in charging. Like I have to, wiggle the charger around. So I think my cat has knocked it down too many times.
Maybe you can use my laptop.
Maybe that'd be
if your tablet won't work.
Yeah. And
sounds like fun. So what kind of things are they going to do?
Yeah, I'm actually contemplating,
What kind of things are they going to do?
It's kind of like a virtual. You can go you can join a stitching table, and it's kind of like a Zoom call. You can a whole bunch of people would be there, so they would all be. You could visual in a Zoom call, and then there's also like a virtual shopping. The you can go in and buy patterns and things like that. So that's a separate like a room or whatever. And there's also meet and greets with the designers. So it's I think it's very much like Zoom technology or something. So I'm assuming that's what it is. I have a code, from when I bought my ticket, so that'll, get me in. So,
is it Kajabi?
I do not know.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if it's Kajabi, it'll work on an iPad. I know that.
But so that was one thing that she had mentioned, that it would be better to use a computer. So I don't know.
It might work this size.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
So you were worried about that? Oh, that looks good.
Well,
Did you figure out the magic circle?
kind of? But
So is that his head or his bottom?
that's the head.
Huh.
You do it from the top down. But I didn't put a stitch marker, so I'm gonna have to start again so I can count rows, because I have no idea.
Do you have? This is a good stitch marker for crochet. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, you gave me some of those, I think.
Oh,
You lent
can have
me
it.
some of those. So I was gonna buy some yesterday, and they didn't have any of these except a package of 3 million.
What I gave her, you can't see. It's a light bulb
Yeah, it's
shaped. It's
yeah.
like a safety pin.
I haven't taken them out of the bag because I'm like, do I really need these?
Oh, those are good. Those are good because they have a lobster claw, but they're cute. Let me see.
Look at the sloth.
The sloth.
There's a turtle.
Oh,
an
it's a
elephant.
sloth. And look, what's that little mouse
And the
or
cat.
something?
I was like, they were really expensive, and I'm like,
Snail.
I don't know if I should keep those.
Alpaca. And a turtle. Oh, those are so cute. These are good for cross stitch because they have a lobster claw.
Cross stitch.
Crochet.
Crochet.
Because I was like,
so cute. If you don't want them, I'll buy them from you. I'm not joking. I love that.
I just look at it. Look, they're just so cute.
They're
Look
so
at this
cute. The
turtle.
snail, the
Oh,
turtle.
Elephant. He's holding a little yarn ball. So yeah, I'll take a picture of them so you can see. The reason I didn't bring them out and talk about them before is like, I'm not sure I want to keep them because
Yeah.
I wanted a whole bunch like this.
Yeah. Do you need more? I have tons. I bought a big container of them. They were all separated by color, but if you need more, do you want some?
Just a couple. I probably don't because I do have these, but
Yeah.
and you gave me some to use.
The problem
before.
with those, I'll tell you, is those are heavy.
I know. It's
So
like
these are probably better.
I looked at them and said, "Those are bag charms."
Yeah. For knitting bags.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. I really
Well,
don't
we
feel
better
good.
go.
So.
Yeah.
But here's your part of your Santa getting formed. Stripey Santa. So cute. I wanted to talk really quick. So I started using this, and I when I made this red one, I didn't think about it, and it's hard for me to use when I am watching a video. Oh, my phone is being stupid. When I'm watching a video on my phone, it's hard for me to use this because this is on my phone. But this is an app called Bee Count. Any of you who knit or crochet, but this is basically it's pretty sophisticated row counter. So this is just a little welcome to Bee Count. The purpose of this app, blah blah blah. But once you get a project in there, let me see if I can find one that looks kind of more yeah, like this one. Whoops. So this one has several counts. So you can name each counter that you want, and you can link them. So when you, like, if you're supposed to do something, you're supposed to, every 5 rows, you have to do something. It can count the something, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it links and it puts a 1 and you can do this 5 times. So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it'll put the other one up 1, in that kind of thing. You can link the counters on here. You could name them whatever you want. And they're really, it's just, you just do it yourself. And so these are all my projects in it. Or it can just be a simple row counter like that. And you just do, let's see if I can, you just press the plus. And this app prevents your phone from falling asleep. So it's always on when you have it there next to you, which is what I was using when I was making the Santa. I didn't use it when I was making this one because I was watching a movie on here. But I really like this. It's called Bee Count, and it has the app is
Excuse me.
The app is a little. I'll do a screenshot of my thing. This is my Fiber Arts folder, but it's a little bee, and it's called Bee Count. It's great. It's a great app. I want to promote it. There was something else I was going to say to you. I was going to tell you something about something. I don't know. But we will be back next week. Don't forget to enter our drawing for our 3 prizes. For one of our 3 prizes, you can just need to mention the keyword, either Santa for mine, delivery for Beth's, or bags for Eve's. She needs to feel better. And we will see you next week.
Yes.
Happy making, and we hope your Christmas plans are going well.
Happy December.
Happy December.
Rabbit.
Thanks for sticking with us for 2 years.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.